We are back. I'm doing a push session. I'm recording every set. I'm not going to do a lot of talking in the session because I want to concentrate on working. I'm going to let editor Alex or voiceover Alex take over from now. And yeah, I might add some bits in here and there throughout the session if I think it's really important to mention. But this is going to be a heavy push session. We're in the 4th week of our cut. We've just had a deload week and I want to get back into it. I think it's going to be a really good session and hopefully you enjoy watching it.
Hey guys, going forward, I'm going to try this format and it's just going to be me talking to the camera to begin with, and then I think I'll slip into a voiceover for the rest of the video.
You're out here trying to look paying for the camera, it's not recorded. 2 to 3. Yeah. If I can get 4, nice. Lift off now. It's just save me if it's not moving.
So you rep out the 140, but it's on you a bit more. Solid. Drive. Good. Drive. 2 for 150, fucking solid, that.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's not bad. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it.
For the next set, I decided to just drop the weight a little bit and go for some more reps. I'm really aiming for that 4 to 6, 4 to 8 rep range because that's what I found is my sweet spot over the past few years of lifting. And I feel like that's what I've been responding to well whilst I've been trying to rejig and play with my splits and my rep ranges recently. That being said, I think going forward, I'm going to touch the weight down a little bit and try to get a few more reps out on certain movements and certain patterns. And bench is one of those movements I'm talking about. I kind of want to see how 8 reps can feel on this movement, or maybe 6. Something on the upper end of the range that I've found has worked in the past.
One thing to say after the bench, the first set was way too heavy for me. I was aiming, I wanted 3 to 4 reps in the back of my mind, but I was satisfied with 2. Yeah, that was definitely ego. That bench attempt there was definitely ego. Should have just stuck at 140, got more reps out. However, I feel like it moves smoothly, so I'm happy with that. Now we're doing shoulder press on the swing machine. Yeah.
Now, this is a movement which I've seen a lot of the people that have big shoulders do, and it's slowly growing on me and becoming one of my favorite exercises. Because why wasn't I doing it before? Well, I know exactly why I wasn't doing it before. It's because I was scared of overdeveloped front delts. And now that I ask myself the question, like, what do those even look like? Why was I scared of overdeveloped front delts when, in actuality, my front delts needed to grow? I think that's the equivalent of going to the gym and feeling like you're accidentally going to get too big, you know? I think that's what I fell victim to. I watched too many videos telling me don't do overhead presses or don't do that. You get adequate levels of shoulder stimulation from these presses or that press or whatever. And it meant that I was neglecting something that really needed some work. And thankfully, I'm sorting it out now and I'm doing the hard work that I need to in order to make them catch up. But it's definitely something I shouldn't have taken out. And I think it's partly because I just fell victim to that whole optimize every single workout as much as you can school of thought. And in reality, I should have just said, fuck it, let me just keep pushing and keep trying and keep training as hard as physically possible and include everything that I can recover from, which would have included this, no doubt, and seen how big I could have really gotten. But obviously life gets in the way, this happens, that happens, and sometimes the gym isn't the priority. But now with that in mind and going into this testing phase of my training, I want to see what I can actually do. However, I do need to remember that I am in a cutting phase and I need to make sure I'm not getting myself injured. And I also need to keep in mind that my lifts aren't going to be going up as much as they would do, if at all. So the anomaly of me hitting 150 whilst in a cut is exactly that, an anomaly. And I think backing off the weight and aiming for a few more reps is probably the smart thing to do in this situation, and is probably going to be the most helpful thing in the long run, because I'm not trying to hit any PBs or gain crazy amounts of muscle right now. I'm trying to stay in a deficit and get as lean as I can in the next 6 weeks. Now, saying that out loud is more for me than it is for anybody else. It's a reminder that I shouldn't be going crazy in the gym in terms of loading up crazy amounts of weights. I need to make sure my sessions are intense, but they need to be something that is not going to injure me. With this exercise, for example, I need to make sure my reps are nice and controlled. And looking back at this footage, I think I need to work on my shoulder adduction here to make sure I'm really hitting that upper chest. But slow and controlled is the ideal, and loading it appropriately so that I'm not injuring myself is the second point. And third of all, pushing myself to failure. And because I see little difference between pushing myself all the way to failure and keeping 1 or 2 reps in reserve. And if there are gains to be made and I'm leaving them on the gym floor by not going all the way to failure, I don't want to do that. I really didn't realize how cold in the face I get when I'm really exerting myself. But I think that's probably just the diet getting to me, because I don't think I had too many calories at this point of the day. Something that's come to mind whilst watching this set is how I've got that brick rubber banded onto the pad. And I don't know if I mentioned it in another video a couple of weeks ago, but it's because I saw a Sam Sudik video where he was explaining how the pins on his pec deck that he's got for his new personal gym are slightly behind the center of rotation for the shoulder. And ever since adding that brick and emulating that, I've gotten a way better stretch and a way better, what I felt has been engagement from doing it this way. And it's definitely taken my shoulders out of it a bit more and made it so that I'm not rolling forward and hunching over too much. Up next is obviously lat raises, and I've started using this machine a lot more than doing conventional dumbbell raises or cable lat raises, and it's doing everything that I wanted the other 2 exercises to do, but just better. I can load it heavy, and it's taking my traps out of the movement for me and really taxing just my shoulders.
My friend Louis is in the gym right now, and he's wearing a t-shirt that says CP Power on it. I just walked up and told him that what CP stands for, but he probably shouldn't be wearing that t-shirt out in public, or that brand is severely misinformed about what they should be abbreviating their name to. But yeah, don't wear t-shirts that say CP Power on them out in public.
Now, obviously I'm joking. I was only saying that just because he was in earshot. But back to the workout. Now, this exercise, again, is becoming my favorite because it's letting me do everything that I want to do with the lat raise. And it's making it so easy for me to just concentrate on just my delts working and to concentrate on that scapular depression so that my delts are the only thing that are going to be working when I'm doing this movement. This is a way better angle to see what I'm talking about, and it looks like my traps are working a lot here, but they're pretty well relaxed when I'm thinking back to when I'm doing this set, because all I'm doing is trying to put my scaps as low as I can on my back and abduct my arms. There's zero shrugging. The only things that are moving is my upper arm trying to get to the ceiling, and I'm really stable. This machine is perfect for me. Now, to round off push, it wouldn't be a good workout without hitting our triceps. And it's as simple as tricep push downs. What am I concentrating on? making sure my shoulder joint is as still as possible and making sure all the movement is happening in my elbow joint. Now, your arms are going to go forward and back a little bit, but you want to minimize as much as you can. Learning so much about these muscles recently has been really enlightening as well. And understanding that I don't have to do an overhead movement in order to hit the long head of my tricep. Because that head of your tricep is biarticular, meaning that it crosses two joints, not moving it at one joint means that you can hit it as much as other heads of the tricep just by keeping it stable there, because then it's shortening and lengthening with the others at the elbow joint. I think this is my last set, and I didn't do a lot for triceps on this day because I felt like this was an adequate amount of work. And to be honest with you, I really taxed myself here. I've gone for a heavy bench, heavy shoulder press, a heavy incline press. Yeah, I think in my mind, I'd said to myself, I'm happy with this work. I'm happy with what I've done so far. So with that being said, here's a pump check. Now, looking at this first hitch, I'm happy with my physique. I'm happy with where I'm at currently. I'm definitely a little bit softer than I was prior to or at the beginning of my deload week because of those extra carbs and the extra calories that I was having. But I feel like this is a good position to be in with 6 more weeks of this cut. And I definitely need to work on my posing. That's for sure. But the midsection is looking okay. The side chest is looking okay. If I'm being super critical, I think I just need to put size on everywhere. But I'm satisfied for the time being. And I'm proud of myself, which is the main thing. I've been putting a hell of a lot of work, and I have put in a hell of a lot of work over the years, and it seems like the fruits of my labor are starting to show themselves.